Hello, boss. What's up? What's up? Welcome to a new video. And in this video, let's talk about our topic. Should you be an introvert or an extrovert? Very interesting topic, right? So, from where do we start? So, I think this concept of introvert or an extrovert, when I was actually scripting for this video, right, I just did a quick, Google search of the meaning of introvert or an extrovert. And for an introvert, it actually displayed that introvert is anybody who's a shy person or shy, and there was some one more like adjective that actually described who is an introvert, basically somebody who hesitates to make a conversation or who's shy in nature and who essentially doesn't always take that first step to actually start that conversation, right? So they're actually classified as an introvert, and an extrovert is anyone who's like very social and active and outgoing. So they are termed as extroverts. So I've seen this problem that people tend to classify themselves either as an introvert or as an extrovert, right? So my first tip or my first take on this topic would be stop classifying yourself as an introvert or an extrovert, right? Because sometimes I'll tell you the reason why I'm telling you this point, right? Because sometimes say you're an introvert, I mean, again, not classifying anybody at all, but say you have the tendency or what is defined as an introvert, right? Say you have that personality that you don't actually strike any conversation. So during that, say once you start classifying yourself as an introvert, then even when you actually feel on one day that you can actually speak up to someone or speak with someone, then this alarm starts running in your mind that, oh no, I'm an introvert, I shouldn't be speaking, this is against my personality trait, right? That's the exact reason why I'm telling you not to classify yourself or label yourself with any terminologies. The same goes for an extrovert as well. Sometimes you're not at all, say something has gone wrong, man, you don't feel anything that day, right? So you're not in your usual groove or mood. So you tend to force yourself to, I mean, you start faking that, oh, everything is because you're the soul of the party or whatever. You start faking, and I don't know, you start pretending that you are the soul of the party, despite that you aren't feeling anything that day. It's just that you're lying to yourself, is what I feel sometimes. If you, that's the exact reason why I'm telling you not to classify yourself again as an introvert or an extrovert, or even if you know your personality trait, right? Just don't label yourself as one, and just don't try to stick to that particular definition, because the exact same problem happens with extroverts also. So that's the reason when you don't feel like, I mean, there are reasons when there are some days when you don't feel that when you don't feel that you are you. So why force yourself to be an extrovert on that day? So that's my like first point. Stop like classifying yourself. And my second point would be exactly like whatever, like countering the first point that I just gave you. I would say ambivert is a sweet spot to be in. I know, man. In English, we coin like a new term for everything, or like every phenomenon, right? So, ambivert. So, what do we mean by an ambivert? So, as per my understanding, ambivert is somebody who has the balance of both an introvert and an extrovert. Like you know when to be quiet and when you need to go like all out, right? So you maintain that perfect balance of both being an introvert or an extrovert, and you lie somewhere in the middle. You're not like hyper and all that, like going all gaga in the party, and at the same time you're not like very quiet or like too shy to express yourself. You're somewhere in between, and I think that's like a very sweet spot to be in. Personally, like on a personal note, I would probably classify myself as an ambivert too, but slightly leaning again towards the extrovert side. So that's just my personality, man. But I mean, yeah, so I think ambivert is like a very sweet spot to be in, because you know that the people don't have too much expectations from you, and if you're not feeling anything just like what I told in my previous point, you know what to do, right? So nobody expects a lot from you or whatever, and people sometimes get shocked that, oh shit, this person is actually like, I didn't know that this person is like a party animal or something. So you tend to surprise people, man, and that's like very funny to actually see their expressions when they actually get shocked. So yeah, that's my second point, and my third point would be, uh, I would address this. I would like to address this point to all these people, all the people who actually feel hesitant, right? So you have thoughts running in your mind, but you're hesitant to speak out. My only solution to this would be, because even I had this problem, right? Sometimes, though I've grown up being an extrovert, but sometimes I felt that, say you're in a social gathering and you find someone interesting, okay? Well, not necessarily a female only, okay? It can be someone, man, just a male. It's just that, see, again, just eliminate the concept of male and female, man. It's just humans, that's it. That's how I view the world. Otherwise, you start placing everybody on a pedestal. You generally start placing the opposite gender on a pedestal, and the conversations won't be the same. Human beings, and done. That's it. So, say you find someone actually interesting, and you just want to know their name and just strike a conversation with them, and you just want to do that, but know that you have that thing going on in your mind, that what if I screw up, what if this person is not interested to talk to me, what if he is busy or what if she is busy. You have like thousand questions running in your mind, right? At that time, so there have been like many instances where I've been like hesitant to go and actually talk to someone or just like strike a conversation because of all these like mental battles, right? So one day what I did was, I was like, screw this, man, let's just go and talk to that person. That's what I told my mind. So this would be a very good tip, that I would like to actually share with you all. So just have like a mental timer, right? So whenever your mind starts telling, don't do this, don't do that, oh, there are possibilities, there are like permutations and combinations of what could actually go wrong, start this timer of 5 seconds, and in the 6th second you're just going to that person, or you're just doing the most uncomfortable thing that you can ever imagine doing off, right? So after the 5th second, you're like, okay, 1 2 3 4 5, I'm going in the 6th second, and just blurt it out, man, just blurt it out. Trust me, nothing's gonna happen, right? So with whatever interactions I've had, like 99% of them have been like very good, and I've got to know a lot of people and made a couple of good friends. So it's just that you just overcome that one bit of barrier that you have in your mind, and trust me, that's like there's like a, what do I tell, like light on the other side of the tunnel. So that would be like a very good way to phrase this, right? So I think you should definitely have that mental timer of 5 seconds, and in the 6th second, you're doing that. And my next tip would be, stop taking yourself too seriously, okay? And stop attaching this concept of, what if I get shamed? I mean, what if I get humiliated or whatever? I mean, screw all this humiliation, everything, man. Nobody is gonna see. That's the thing, right? So whenever you're taking a selfie or whatever, there are like many people watching you, and probably you'd feel too conscious that, oh, these people are actually looking at me. How do I pose and all that? Screw that, man. You're never gonna see their faces ever in your life, right? Have the same attitude over here too. The worst that can happen, whatever I told, right? So, that they can outright ignore you, or they won't be making that conversation back with you, right? That's the worst thing that could happen. Screw that. That's like there's like 1% chance of that happening, and there's like 99% chance that something good will definitely emerge out of that situation. So I would say in this case, the odds are in favor of you. So you should take like complete advantage of that rather than overthinking. So stop having like too much of this thing that, oh, what if my self-respect goes away? What if how would I feel? What if I get humiliated and all that? Chances are that in most of the cases, nothing's gonna happen, and you'd be thankful that you watched this video, all right? So yeah, and couple more observations that I had, right? So one more point. So so this was my observation, right? If you have actually seen our parents, right, in most of the cases, our parents are so free, man. They don't have this concept of whatever. I'm an introvert. I'm an extrovert. I'm an ambivert. Nothing. Have you ever seen your parents like being too hesitant to actually go talk to someone? Heck, our parents, especially like say they meet someone on the streets, right? They become so friendly with them that they sometimes even bring them to our homes, right? So and they end up like having great bonds with them, and sometimes the conversations are like so organic that they end up discovering some mutuals between them, and sometimes you don't even know that they're like a distant relative. I'm sure that these incidents have happened with you, and you've seen your parents actually like discovering that, oh, this person is like a mutual friend of your parents, or like a distant relative of yours. I mean, it's so wholesome, right? It's like our parents, despite not being that exposed to the environments and circumstances and the opportunities that we are given right now, but they don't have all these like first world problems, which I would I would like to address them as, where when people tend to classify themselves as, oh, I'm very socially anxious and all these. Trust me, it's just one more blockage and labeling that you are actually attaching yourself to, right? So I would say you need to move on from that. It's doable. Trust me, it's doable. It's just practice, man. Conversations are just practice. That's it. So initially you will suck at it. You will suck big time at that. But once you start like practicing that, right? So once you start talking to people, you get better at that, right? And you know the pattern next time. You know how to start a conversation. What are the opening lines? I mean, I'm making this sound like a date, man. So whatever. This is not like a dating advice or whatever. I mean, okay, stick to the topic, man. So yeah, I mean, you get very good at that, right? So you get to know what your opening line should be. How do you actually go and approach someone? You learn this just through practice. That's it. And how do you practice? You can't practice going to standing in front of a mirror and talking to yourself, right? I mean, that would be berserk and nuts. So the best idea would be just go to people, start talking to them, and trust me, it's like everything would be good, is what I can assure you of. So, yeah, these were like couple of points that I had in my mind. Let me see if I have missed any point. One more thing that I would like to, uh, one last point that I would like to share with you all would be you. This is the most generic advice that you can find, but trust me, this always works. Don't try to fake, okay? Don't try to be fake or fake something and have that fake aura or whatever, right? It doesn't work. People can sense that, and from a long distance. And yeah, it's like people know that you're faking. So my best advice is be you, man. Trust me. And there are many people that would actually appreciate your personality and they would admire you, right? So you don't need to pretend to be someone else or have that fake aura or confidence. That doesn't work. Be you. And yeah, and one last tip would be, yeah, this is true especially for people who are actually finding difficulties interacting with the opposite genders, right? Nothing different. As I repeated, it's the same principle. Just start viewing everybody as human beings, and just don't look at every person as somebody you would like date or whatever, man. So have simple conversation, have real conversation, treat them like humans. You assuming like you would see somebody, right? So you and you don't always make any conversation with them with the intention that you would probably date them or whatever, man. So cut this notion that okay, I need to impress them all the time. People can sense that, man. People can sense that you're fake. Have simple conversation, real conversation, meaningful conversations. People definitely value that more as compared to all the flattery, and people can sense that bullshit, man. So that's what I would like to tell. And stop placing the opposite genders on a pedestal, right? So that's true for both like males and females, right? So It doesn't make sense at all. Once you start placing somebody on a pedestal, the power dynamics completely change, and you always try to strike any conversation in a way that person actually gets impressed, right? Which is not the topic of today's discussion. So, yeah, be organic, be real, and be you. With that, I would like to end the video. I hope you found some value. And yeah, should you be an introvert or an extrovert? That question is for you to answer. And yeah, I hope this video added some value to you. With that, I would like to end the video, and I'll see you all in the next video. Bye bye, take care, and see you all.